Hi, this is Nicole from Brisbane South PHN, and this is an instructional video on how to use GoShare and the GoShare Plus tool in Cat 4 to send out health information to patients. We'll start with an overview of the GoShare web platform. To access the platform, simply type in goshare.com.au in your web browser. This will take you to the sign-in page. We sign in with the details we've created when we opened up our account. Once you've signed in, you'll land on the home page. This is also the search page. So this is where all the resources and information available is grouped together in topics or conditions. So as you scroll down the page, you'll be able to see tiles that represent the topics available, and the resources will be within those tiles. There is also a search function at the top of this page where you can type in the condition or topic that you're looking for, and it will list all of the information resources available with that topic. For this example, we'll have a look at asthma in adults. So once we click into a tile, it will take us to all the types of resources available within that topic, in this case, asthma in adults. There's 4 different types of resources that you need to be aware of. The first one is stories. So stories are short 2 to 5 minute videos from peers that are sharing their experiences with that condition. The next one along is information sheets. The information sheets are sheets that are available from Australian peak bodies on the topic that you're in. For some of them, there can be a lot of information sheets there. So there is also a search function here if you want to look for a specific keyword within the information sheets. So in this case, if we type in inhaler, it will bring up all the information sheets available with inhaler in it. So you can see the first one, asthma inhaler and medication tips. The third type of resource is animations. Animations are short 2 to 5 minute animations around general lifestyle modifications that may be useful for patients in managing their chronic disease or their condition. So things like quitting smoking, taking medication, and hospital discharges. Because these are general topics, they're available across all of the conditions listed in the front. The last type of resource is the apps and tools. So these are links to applications or tools that might be useful for a patient in managing their condition. So in the case of asthma, they're links to things like asthma action plans through the National Asthma Council. So how do we set and send out information to patients? So we'll have a look at information sheets. So once you've seen something that you think is useful for a patient, you can add it to a bundle. When we talk about bundles, that's the group of information that we're sending out to a patient, and it can consist of anything from 1 type of resource up to 4 types of resource. Those resources can be the same type, or they can be different ones across the 4 types we've just talked about. So once you see something you think is useful, you simply click Add to Bundle. This will now send it to your Favorites section, which we'll go into next. So Favorites is represented by the star. So this is where you'll be able to see all the bundles that you have access to under your username. There's 3 different sections to the side. The first one is the unsaved bundles, and this is the bundle that you're currently creating. You can change the title of the bundle by clicking on the green dots on the side, and you can update it to anything that you find is easy for your practice to be able to find in the future. Once you're happy with that bundle, you can save it and it will move it to this section that says Your Bundles. You can also choose to delete the bundle from that area. So your bundles are ones that you have previously created and saved, and that are accessible under your login or your username. You will also have access to the Brisbane South PHN bundles. These bundles have been created by Dr. Amy Langford and Brisbane South PHN on a range of topics. In this section, there are also campaigns that have been created by Health Elite and are usually targeted towards cohorts of patients. So for example, the 45 to 49 health check. And we will show you a little bit later how to send these out to a cohort of patients using Cat 4 and the Health GoShare Plus tool. Firstly, we'll look at how do you send a bundle out to an individual though. So if we pick Anxiety Introduction, when you click into it, it will show you the types of resources available in this bundle. So for this one, you can see there's 2 information sheets and 1 application or tool, which is the Head to Health Guide to Digital Health Resources. To send this to an individual, you select Send Bundle. If you have sent something to the individual previously in the GoShare platform, they will already exist as a recipient. And you can start to type in their name and it will bring them up, as you can see. If it is a new patient and you've not sent anything to them before via GoShare, you will need to add in their details by clicking on Add New. You will need to provide a first name, last name, and either an email or mobile. The recipient ID is up to you whether you would like to provide a unique identifier for that patient. Once you're happy with the information you have provided, you can click Done and it will store that patient's details in the GoShare platform from now on. When you scroll down, you can choose whether or not you would prefer to send it via email or via SMS, and you will see there are some default messages set in there. Anything that's in the square brackets will automatically be filled in from the information provided. So where it says recipient, that will be replaced with the patient's name that you're sending the information to. Once you're happy with it, you click on Send Bundle and it will send it out to that patient. So now let's have a look at the other icons that are available. There is a person icon to the side here. This is where you can see a report and all of the patients that you've sent information or bundles out to. You can create reports and you can also see whether the patient has actually viewed the bundle or not. Lastly, there is the cog function. So this is your settings icon. This is where you can access the admin page to add new users and also to change your default settings like the practice's phone number or email. We will include a link or some information on how to add new users as well. There are some videos that Healthily has provided that are short videos on how to create bundles and programs, and we're able to provide a link to those as well. So now let's have a look at how we send out a health campaign to a cohort of patients. For this example, we're going to use a campaign called It's Safe to See Your GP. So this was created by Healthily and it was in response to feedback from clinicians and practices in regards to easing patient anxiety about returning to their practices in the COVID environment. If you want to see what's in the actual campaign, you can simply click on it and it will take you to the slides that will be seen by the patient. So the patient will receive a message that will say, your practice has provided this information, please click on the link, and it will take them to this slideshow that you're now seeing. In this example, the slides provide information on what practices are doing to make sure that it is safe for patients to return, but also provides information and advice to patients on what to do if they're experiencing symptoms that may be from COVID. So that's how you can have a look and see what's in the campaign. Now let's have a look how to use Cat4 to send this out to a cohort of patients. So I'll just minimize this now. So you open up your Cat4, and this is the landing page, and once you're there, you click on the briefcase. The first thing you want to do is load your extract. So if we click on View Extracts, we load the most recent extract. Once that's loaded, you can click Hide just to remove that panel. The next thing we want to do is open up the filters. So this is where we're going to choose the criteria to filter and see which patients we want to see or what cohort we want to create to send this campaign out to. So in the case of It's Safe to See Your GP, we might want to look at patients who are considered vulnerable, so older patients who might have comorbidities. So we'll set the start age at 65. And in your case, you would normally select active. So this is your active patients or patients who visited the practice 3 times in the last 2 years. In my example, I'm not going to do this, but this is because we're using sample data and I don't have enough patients to do that. You may also want to look at choosing MBS attendance, where it says RACF and selecting no. This will remove any patients in your patient population that are residential aged care facility patients, as you may not want to be sending out a campaign to those patients in terms of returning back to their GP. Once you're happy with the filters and the criteria you've set for your cohort of patients, you click on Recalculate. And this will filter your total population down to those criteria that you've put in there. We also want to have a look at patients with comorbidities. So in the report section here, we select the tab that says comorbidities. And you'll be able to see that this creates a pie graph where you can see patients with 1 comorbidity, 2, 3, 4, or more than 4. Depending on how many patients match this criteria, if it's a large number, you may want to filter this down to patients with 2 or more comorbidities. And you can do that by selecting the parts of the pie graph that you want to actually have in your report. In our case, because it's a small cohort, we're going to choose Select All. Once you're happy with that, you click on the report function up the top, and this will create a list of the patients that match those criteria that we've put in place. Now, in this section, there is an option to refine this report and to remove patients that you may think are not appropriate for sending out that campaign. So as you have personal relationships with your patients in a practice, you may identify, for example, if we click on this button, that Felix Adams, he may be visited a month ago and we don't need to send this campaign out to him. So simply by selecting the box and unticking it, it will remove that patient from your list. So you have that option there under Refine Selection to do that. So this is the new GoShare Plus integration with Cat4. So in your Cat4, it should be in color. That means that it's been activated. If it is grey, please contact your Brisbane South PHN and we can look into that for you. So in order to use it, you click on that icon and it will open up a panel to the right. So there's a few sections in this panel that you need to fill out. The first one is the activity name. So this is just a free text box that is used as a reference for your practice when you're running reports and you want to be able to see what you've sent out. So I would recommend calling it the name of the actual campaign that you're sending out, but it's up to your practice as to what they would like to refer to it. So we'll just type in, it's safe to see your GP. The next section down is loading bundle from your user. So this is where we talked about as a user, if you create a bundle, it will be saved under that user's name. So it depends what bundle you're sending, but you'll have your list of users here. In this case, we're sending out a campaign that was created by Healthly, and that will be available under the Brisbane South PHN user. So once you've selected which section you want to load the bundles from, you use number 2, which is load the bundles, to drop down all of the bundles available under that user's account. So this will have a list of all the ones available through Brisbane South PHN. You scroll down to find the one that you want, which for us is it's safe to see your GP. And you'll see once you load it, it loads that default SMS text for you again. So once again, anything that's in the square brackets will automatically be filled in with the patient's name and with your practice's name as well. So just so you're aware with that one. There are a few things to actually have a look at as well. So down the bottom here, there's a couple of tick boxes. The first one is to remove patients who have opted out of receiving an SMS. So if your practice has a policy where when patients provide their mobile, they opt them in, you would leave this box ticked because this will remove any patients who in your clinical software have explicitly stated that they do not want to receive SMSs. They'll automatically be filtered out of this list if you have that box ticked. The next one down is to include an opt-out message at the end of the SMS message. So just by default, there is always an opt-out reply message included in all the SMSs. You can choose as a practice to remove that or leave it in. The last thing to have a look at down the bottom here is that it will tell you the number of credits that are required to send out this message. So we have 4 patients with valid mobile numbers that we're sending this campaign out to, and it's going to cost us 8 credits. It'll tell you as well the available credits that you have remaining, so you can see whether you have enough to send out that message. Once you're happy with this, you can also send a test out, and I would recommend doing this because it's a way to check that you've got the right bundle and you're happy with the information that's going out before you send it out to a cohort of patients. So you can simply enter your details and your mobile number and click OK, and it will send out exactly what's going to be sent to the patients to those details that you've entered in there. When you're finally happy to send it, you can click on send. It will come up again telling you how many credits are available. It will tell you the message length, and if you're happy with it, it'll ask you, do you wish to continue? And you can click on yes. And that will come up letting you know that it's now successfully been sent out to all the patients with a valid mobile number in that report. And it's as simple as that.